Hi, my name is Juliana Zeledon and I'm a coffee producer from Costa Rica. My dad started a company called Down to Earth when I was 1, and I've been watching the whole process from the producing side. So I'm very interested to be here in LA trying to figure it out what the other side is all about. I took over Down to Earth last year when my dad passed away, so I'm kind of trying to continue his legacy in the best way I can by putting everything that I learned into perspective. Today we're gonna go meet John, who is an LA Times reporter, and he is very proud of his city. So I'm very excited to see LA through his eyes and see what it has to offer. So what's your favorite thing about LA?
That's a really good question. I mean, there's so much. Los Angeles is a really big metropolis. I mean, it's about 150 square miles, and there's like a million different cities within the cities. There's a ton of places to go. And what I love about LA specifically is how multicultural it is. There's such a vibrant community of creative people. And then once you get out of like the central core of LA, like the San Fernando Valley or the South Bay, there's just so much to experience and to see. The good way to get to know the city is drive down those streets and see what there is to offer. You'll see such a vast variety of restaurants and people and cultures, and that's what makes it so interesting, that outside of the superficial nature of like the Hollywood sign or the entertainment industry, there's just so much the city has to offer.
Okay, so give me a little bit of context.
We're in a pretty famous LA neighborhood called West Hollywood. We're heading over to a coffee place called Go Get 'em Tiger, which is part of a small, like, local LA chainlet. It's a very LA spot. If you've never had like homemade macadamia nut milk, this is the place where you can go.
Okay, so I'm very interested in your story.
I originally grew up in New York, and my parents moved us out here when I was a kid. So when back in the early '80s, it was just a really great experience, kind of coming to California. So I grew up in LA in the San Fernando Valley. I'm an entrepreneur, so I've been working in and around technology, around media and automotive, and then I'm spending a lot of time working on a climate change solution. So I'm spending most of my time kind of figuring out how to make the world a better place. I've got 2 little kids, so I'm trying to kind of do good for them. I have a lovely wife, I'm trying to do good for her. Whenever I look for coffee or look for anything, I try to make sure that it's ecologically sound and has a small carbon footprint.
So what did we get?
We ordered the most LA thing on the menu. It's
Okay.
an iced macadamia nut almond milk latte. And the reason we got these is that they make their own macadamia nut almond milk in-house, and iced because it's LA and it's always hot. And then we got a cortado because I want you to tell me how the espresso is and how it tastes and that kind of stuff like that.
It's good. It's very different to what I'm used to. Because in Costa Rica, I normally drink my coffee just with milk. The whole flavored coffee has never been my thing before, but it's good. I like it.
So for me, would I get one every day? Probably not, but I figured if you're visiting in LA, we should probably get something very LA.
The most LA thing in the menu. No, it's nice. I like it. It's very
awesome.
different.
Yeah. But with the cortado, I think...
I'm excited. The cortado is my favorite coffee drink.
Yeah, you can tell me. What do you think?
It smells good.
What should I know about coffee? I'm not a coffee expert, so like, what are you smelling?
The first thing that you have to do for the cup profile is smell it as strongly as you can. That will tell you a lot about the coffee, right? The variety, how roasted it is.
And why do you like the cortado? Is it because it's the blend of everything?
The best way to try a new coffee is, for me personally, by getting an espresso. And if you want to make it even better, a cortado. So you have a shot of espresso, same amount of steamed milk, right? You have the strength of the espresso that will give you the full cup profile so you can try it. You have the milk. If you have a good bean, a good quality bean, the milk will bring out little details that you cannot perceive without the milk.
That's really good.
It is good, right?
Yeah, that's good. It's got a nice profile.
Okay, so we got some beans, right? I'm excited to see it.
You can tell me all about coffee.
When you're buying coffee, so basically you should always get beans because it's gonna
Whole
be
beans.
fresher. Whole beans,
Okay.
yes. Because you wanna grind right before you consume it. That way it's fresh, right? Because when you're grinding, you're breaking the barrier of the bean and it starts to oxidize. So you want to have it as fresh as you can, right? Normally, we assume that bigger is better. You go to the supermarket, you get the bigger watermelon. You don't get the smallest you can find.
Right.
With beans, it's the opposite, right? The beans should be smaller. The smaller they are, the more dense and flavorful they are.
Okay.
And if you see big beans, because sometimes you go to a coffee shop and then you'll see huge oily beans, those are terrible. Okay. Because the highlands have smaller beans, right? It takes longer for the metabolism of the tree to ripen, so the beans are smaller and more dense, like this, right? They don't have to be the same size.
And that's a nice roast too. Like that's like a medium roast as opposed to like a super dark roast.
It's supposed to be dark, but I like it because the thing is that, as I told you, the lighter we roast, the better, because you can have more flavor and more aroma. I mean, some people like dark espresso because they enjoy the boldness.
Right.
But I think you can trade that with the preparation method. So you get lighter roast, but then you make it in an espresso machine. So you don't have to trade bold for flavor and aroma. You can have them both. These beans look very good. And the thing is that if you see, the surface has like ripples, like it has texture, it's not perfectly smooth, which again goes against everything we believe. We tend to think that smooth is perfection, perfect equals quality, but this is the opposite, right? So as you see, it has texture, which means that the beans is dense and it came from highlands.
Okay.
Right? So this is what you're looking for. I think the most important thing is to make coffee part of you. That's why I like how people are getting new machines, new method, making it at home makes it more personal, makes it more of a coffee ritual. People learn to appreciate the cup. When I drink coffee, I have a different type of coffee that I drink on Sundays. I call it my Sunday morning coffee. So I have a question for you. Now you're giving me the perspective for what the coffee scene is like in LA. If you could change something as a non-expert from your viewpoint, what would you change for the coffee industry?
I feel like there can be a bigger sense of inclusivity for people and make coffee a little more about everyone as opposed to these certain kind of groups. LA gets a bad rap for it being an authentic place, which totally true. But it's the same thing with friends as it is for wine or it is for coffee, is that once you find your place, things open up to you. And so I'm really looking forward to like finding like the next places that I go to.
Specialty coffee has really been embraced here. We don't necessarily follow whatever drink is popular. Trends come and go, and for us, we're in this for the long haul. I think like most people, we're looking for that unique flavor profile, and at the same time, who are we supporting behind that coffee? Conoscenti means someone that's an expert in something. The name came from more of a romantic notion. My pursuit, establishing a place for community, build up conversation.
Just very interesting. I think like sometimes the average person doesn't know much about coffee. And now with places like this, it's very accessible for them to go and learn. And I feel like people are getting coffee like a sense of purpose, more than just to drink, you know, what goes behind it, behind the cup.
We opened up this location in 2016. We have a cafe that's part of the roastery. It gives us an opportunity to be able to taste all the coffees and then highlight it to the public. And as we head back here, this is our roasting facility. We do our bulk coffee roasting on Fridays, doing batches from about 10 pounds to 25 pounds per batch.
You're a roaster yourself, correct?
Yes, we started in my friend's backyard. We started with a cast iron 1 kilo, made in Korea, using artisan. We're doing a lot of batches, and that's where that's where I kind of learned. I'm still learning about roasting.
Oh, very nice. It's very smooth.
Oh, thank you.
This is good. Yeah. I feel like it has a great acidity. You know, it's not overwhelming, but it's definitely present. But it feels very smooth. For me, roasting is like being a chef, right? Everyone has their own recipes, and everybody will roast different. Like if I give you a batch of coffee, and I take one home, and we both roast it, it's gonna taste different.
I didn't get into coffee until 2008. I have a background in architecture, so I drank a lot of coffee back then. And ended up visiting Intelligentsia in Silver Lake and had a cappuccino there and
It changed your life.
yeah, literally. I started as a coffee cart, started serving to the public and allowed me to kind of taste as much coffee as possible. 2009, we partnered with Proof Bakery in Atwater Village. So we operated the coffee side, really grew the kind of this beautiful pairing of croissants and cappuccinos and brewed coffee.
For you to be able to roast good coffee, you have to have very quality beans from the start.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's also knowing your heat source, you know, what kind of pan are you using? So, you know, in our case, what kind of roaster? Is it electric or is it gas powered?
Yeah. Do you feel like having a roaster adds extra value?
It definitely adds a higher level experience, but for us, it brings that level of education to our staff, you know, closer to origin. All right, your cortado?
Yes. It smells good.
How's the temperature?
It's good. It's perfect. I actually think that milk brings out a lot. Expands the flavor and everything.
Smells out the sweetness a little bit.
Exactly. I think it brings out like a chocolatey note, especially if it has like a nutty taste. I really like it. I think this is a perfect cortado. Yeah, it's great.
People that work with us are just as passionate about coffee, and we're like-minded as far as how we want to showcase that.
I love that you have the roaster here. Clients can kind of see that you're roasting the coffee as they buy it, and you have some sacks. It feels very warm and welcoming.
Yeah.
Do you have clients that normally ask you about the coffee process?
Oh yeah,
Do you
if
get
we're
a bunch of
roasting,
questions, right?
we always get people.
Yeah, that's amazing. I bet. It's just very interesting. I think like sometimes the average person doesn't know much about coffee. Now, with places like this, it's very accessible for them to go and learn. And I feel like people are getting coffee like a sense of purpose, more than just to drink, you know, what goes behind it, behind the cup and the preparation. The best way to drink coffee is the way that you like it.
I would say drink as much coffee as possible. I think the most challenging thing is to build your palate and to know what you like, and
what
that
you
takes
got.
obviously
Yeah, it takes
just
years.
years to really develop that.
Very happy. This I think the best cortado I've ever had here. I mean, I've had here in LA since I was here. It's good. It's very good.
When each person, when they get passionate enough and inspired enough to create a space their own, if they just truly make it their own. I've said Los Angeles is one of those places that has that global impact. Anything you're doing, if you're doing it with a level of passion and integrity that is truly palpable and genuine, people are gonna find you. This is sort of a spot that, you know, people gotta tell you about to find right now. It's felt so personal and intimate in a way that I've wanted to re-embrace a lot of the community that I was a part of helping foster in Venice. I wanted to focus this program on natural processed coffee, given that we focus on natural processed wine. People are excited about in coffee because there's such definable flavors and get people hooked into specialty coffee. Well, I'm extremely excited to be Gateway in the sense that if I can be people's aha experience with specialty coffee, I'm excited to, be that.
I mean, I've seen the variety. It's just, there's a lot of coffee in LA. That's why I came here. I was very interested to learn. I mean, I've talked to people and they're saying it's growing every day even more. For you, like in your perspective, what makes it unique? What makes it stand out for all the coffee shops there's just in LA?
While I might not have, you know, the TikTok craze, you know, producing me a line around the corner or something like that, I think on the more community and again, genuine sort of level, you know, cup by cup, you know, that I meet, you know, a person and a passerby, just like you,
just like me.
and just, you know, and get to create, you know, a long-lasting relationship that's, you know, not based upon clickbait, you know. Truly excited to continue to foster those environments and support people that are about them too.
I see that you have wines over here and coffee, and I really think that's an interesting combination because I feel like the process of wine and coffee are very similar. So
All the parallels, continue to lend themselves to each other, the very, very similar worlds. But we got iced versions of my Cafe Rico, sort of respect to that Puerto Rican heritage. Cafe Rico, it's just delicious coffee, right? And so I make the vanilla syrup myself. I use fresh orange oils. Yeah, and basically we've just got some yummy espresso, some vanilla, fresh orange.
it's very good. What about these two?
So then one of my business partners here at Hooked was telling me one of her nicknames. She says she used to go by Dina Colada back in the day. And so I was riffing on making a coffee mojito, if you will.
Okay.
And one of my chefs in a restaurant was saying, a riff on a pina colada might be fun. And I'm like, oh, and I got a name for it. Got oyster juice there. You've got pickled pepper juice because Dina likes things a little spicy. You've got a distilled coffee. You've got sweetened condensed milk, and then you've got pineapple juice.
Wow.
And then some espresso grounds on top just to kind of carry through the rest of the aromatics.
It's very good too.
Thank you, thank you.
Wow.
Lastly, I got my espresso and tonic here. That's been a hallmark of my service for quite a while. I've always described it as just being like a citrusy espresso soda, something kind of sort of bubbly and refreshing. And again, being next to Venice Beach, you want things that are sort of refreshing at times and iced, So, though when we got our nice overcasty days, enjoying this hot is completely worthwhile.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
And I really like that you bring personal story to the drinks. You pay homage to the people that made a positive impact in your life. I think that's amazing.
Sure.
Clients are gonna appreciate that because I've been going to coffee shops that are different. Coffee shops that have connection with people, kind of like the third wave of coffee where clients want more than just to purchase a cup. They want the story.
Yeah.
They want to know the person who's gonna make their cup. They want to know where the coffee came from. They want to know the quality of the bean, like it's the appreciation for the process, and I think that's exactly what you're doing here.
Thank you, thank you. I try to make it, you mentioned earlier, getting to know my customers, everything. I try to make it something where I build rapport with people. From the second I meet them, I try to meet them where they're at, whether it's, they like a really sweet cup of coffee or they do just want just a black cup of coffee. I like to say that, I do my best to make sure I'm versed in all of that. I want to make, somebody as happy as I possibly can with these two hands. Some of the better memories I have of my grandmother making coffee are what I lean on as far as being, the way she made me feel when she would share that last little corner of her coffee with me, it's more often than not how I try to make people feel when they come in. So I'm Puerto Rican, very classic sort of thing to grow up with, taza de café, after dinner or something, and so I've seen, my grandmother, my mother making coffee my entire life that fell into it the way that I did, started really focusing on it as a career. It's felt natural since day one. I'm a dad of two boys.
Are they interested in coffee?
One point or another, they've each shown a little bit of flair for it.
Okay.
They both know that that's what Daddy does. My 6-year-old seems to be the one that will just randomly take a cup of anything and tap it and go like this and swirl it a little bit. So I think he might have something for it, yeah.
They don't drink coffee?
Oh yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah. The way I grew up too, the earliest 4 years old, I remember sharing a cup of coffee with my grandmother, They like to have a little taste here and there. They, of course they like it more sweet, everything,
Yes, with milk.
I remember one of my first coffee memories was my grandmother taking me to a Haagen-Dazs to have a scoop of coffee ice cream. And so that flavor profile is definitely what sticks out to me, and similar, my sons too, they know a little sweet, creamy sort of coffee thing they're excited about, and yeah, eventually I can definitely see them kind of coming around more and more. Your story is inspirational, I would only hope that they see the love, the passion, the integrity I've done my best to maintain in my career. It's not, like, oh yeah, my dad, is a barista. He was like, oh no, my dad is a barista.
Yes.
Something that I hope they do, they recognize the impact of it just being more than me just making a cup of coffee. It's, what I've dedicated to being in fostering community, into training people that, want to learn how to do coffee themselves. I do see that being there for them. I would be so excited if they chose to take that up.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Thanks.
I can see that you have a lot of passion, and when I was growing up, just looking at my dad working with the passion that he used to have inspired me. I was like, this is so cool. Even though I didn't drink coffee when I was young. When I was like, I didn't like it. But I was still very interested interested in the situation, even though I didn't drink coffee, because I love just hearing him talk with that much passion, getting involved with clients. I would just like stay in the corner and just like listen to him giving coffee tours, and I would like try to like remember every single word, and that's how I learned what I know.
Sure.
Right, so I feel like,
and I think
that
you're
might
right.
happen for
That's
you. Yeah.
100% it. It's the environment we create about them. You know, it's
Yeah.
what brings people in. It's what makes people feel comfortable. It's what makes them want to sit down and have a coffee with you.
And even if it's not your kids, I know that you're gonna impact a lot of people.
Thank
I
you.
just know it because just your personality is amazing.
Thank you.
And what you do for the community, I just feel like is the type of place where you go have a coffee, you leave, years later you still remember. Like, oh, when I
Thank
met
you.
nicely, you know
Oh,
what I
man,
mean?
thank
It's just
you.
great. It's great.
Thank
It's
you.
what coffee should be about. So
That's
I'm
the
very
goal.
excited.
Appreciate
That's what
it.
I'm most excited about the new coffee era. It's just seeing places like this, meeting people like you that are so into coffee, and they make it more than just a business. It's not about
Thank you.
selling the cups, it's about sharing the
See?
coffee.
And that rounds back to where, Los Angeles is doing. More people like myself wanting to get at the helm and open more places like this. I think
excited.
you're going to see more of it.
Having a coffee in hand feels comfortable. It's a part of the ritual of just starting your day. I liked it when I was younger, and then as I got older, I was a little bit obsessed with it. I work in Santa Monica. What could I bring to Santa Monica, to this community that they don't already have? For one thing is homemade syrups made with your hands, makes everything taste better. Flavors that you're not used to normally having, like mint coffee. Not many people are used to having minty lattes.
I've never had it before.
It's really good. Yeah, you'd be surprised because coffee is such a distinct flavor. Putting different flavors with it, mixing them all together and seeing how it comes out. It's some of the most fun parts of it.
When I went to see nicely, I realized they have these amazing and very creative drinks that I've never seen before.
Yeah,
Especially here in LA, I've seen that each coffee shop has their own style, and they have these creative drinks, and they bring out stories and personalities into their coffee cups. So how do you bring your personality and your stories into your coffee?
For one, I have this drink at my coffee shop. It's called the Other Paloma. It's a cold brew shaken drink with grapefruit juice and simple syrup. It's very refreshing. I actually named that drink after a paloma to pay homage to my Mexican heritage, you know, and I was like, you know what, let's have a paloma version for the morning. So that's why I named it the Other Paloma, because it's a grapefruit juice based cold brew mocktail situation.
I'm very excited too, because I kind of wanted you to teach me some stuff.
Oh, I would love to teach
know,
you how to make a cappuccino.
I'll be so excited to see. You know, it's been a while since I've made a coffee.
You're in great hands.
Okay, let's
Okay. To make latte art, you need espresso and steamed milk. I'm going to add the milk dead center. Here's that. And I'm going to stay along this middle area here while I wiggle that foam. And then towards the top, I'm going to split it through just like that. That's how you get a heart.
I feel like it looks easier than it actually is.
It definitely does. Just go for it.
Okay.
Give it a little circle. There you go. Maybe go a little bit higher up. All right, you're gonna stop, get really close, and pour that design in like I did earlier.
I go like,
Get closer, get closer.
nothing's happening.
There you go, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I like it. It's like Picasso.
Right? It's like abstract art.
Yeah. Okay, so
Gorgeous.
let me explain what happened. So when you're high up like that, the weight
Okay.
of the milk is going to push down that white. You see that? Like an eraser.
Oh, okay, I see
So
what you
to
mean. I
get
have to be closer.
You have to be closer, yeah.
The side comparison doesn't look good for me.
It's just a start.
You know-
This is ground zero. People think coffee and all they think about is Starbucks. You know, they're like, what are you gonna do in coffee? Like, are you just gonna be a barista for the rest of your life? And I'm like, there's so much more to that. And even if I wanted to be a barista, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody needs their barista.
Right? There's nothing but respect here for baristas. I feel like your work is amazing, and I'm just very
Thank you.
impressed on how coffee can also bring out different, areas. So like, it's not only the agricultural part, it's also the art that you can get
Yeah.
into the business. When do you think you transitioned from working in a coffee shop and being a barista, like as an art?
Honestly, it never really felt like a job.
Okay.
And so to me, that was the difference. I'm a naturally artistic person. I love to draw, I love to paint. When I was working in specialty coffee and I learned latte art and not just making the drink but making it beautiful, it felt much more personal to me, and seeing people's reactions to what I had made for them, it really made me fall in love with it. It felt like almost a gift.
I come here to LA, I'm discovering all these new coffee shops, this new movement of being creative drinks, you know, other than the regular cappuccino, cortado, ristretto, and then learning about all this creative process that was behind thinking of a new blend. I find it extremely interesting. So first of all, I really want to thank everyone that helped me in LA. I had a great time. The city was so much more than I could ever imagine. I feel like I barely scratched the surface and I have so much more to learn and so much more places to visit. So I'm very excited to see what's next in the coffee world. I got very inspired. I love meeting all these people in coffee in the industry that were not only connoisseurs but creators who brought innovation into coffee and the business, and they're helping it grow. So I was very inspired. Hi, I'm Juliana Zeledon and I'm back in LA for Coffee Culture Live. So it's very good to see the other side of coffee. In my end, you only see the production side. So sometimes you miss the direct communication with the clients and the side of the coffee shop. So it's very interesting to see how they treated their clients, the newer drinks that they were making, how they brought all the creative side of it. So then I got to Costa Rica and I got to thinking on how can I make my coffee business more direct so I can keep engaging with the clients the same way that my friends in coffee do. So I got to bring a lot of ideas to my own coffee business on how to be more creative, how to include, you know, the third wave of coffee. The third wave of coffee is this new wave of innovation where people want to be more connected to a cup. So it's not only you go to the supermarket and you buy the coffee, it is also you want to connect with the idea, with the producer, you want to know where the coffee comes from, people want to be more involved. So that's exactly where we're bringing back all the guests. We want to continue the discussion. We feel like there's so much more that we didn't touch on. So with all the guests being together, we'll be able to open the conversation and keep the discussion going, learn so much more about coffee, and keep bringing up the ideas. Honestly, it was amazing. He was very passionate. I could feel his passion through, you know, his cups. I tried amazing drinks, different, very innovative and creative. And I love how he brings his identity, his ideas into his cup. So something that I learned from Yeekai was how he managed to do a connection between the roasting and the clients, how he engaged and mixed it all together, you know, with his coffee shop. He had the roaster in the back. I love learning about his roasting style and the method that he used to use. I always say, you know, roasting is like being a chef. I got to see him in his craft, in his art, and it was wonderful. And then something that I learned from Lena, I mean, she was very inspiring. She's a woman in coffee, she's young, and she's also Latina like me. So seeing her thrive, and I've been keeping up with her, you know, since I left, and see her, she's been in like multiple, you know, latte art competitions, and she's doing great. She's a great ambassador, you know, for women in coffee and Latinas all over the world. So coffee now is a big community all over the world. So I'm very interested in seeing how people do coffee in different places. There's a lot of countries that I would love to visit. There's a lot of places that do coffee great, and it's starting to grow. I would love to see, you know, a region where they produce coffee as well. That's my specialty, producing. And I know a lot of producing in Costa Rica and Central America, but seeing the other side of coffee, you know, different harvest seasons, different techniques, different beans, different varieties of coffee, I would love to learn from that. Stay tuned, we'll be traveling to new places and discovering new coffee cultures.